you still hiding? The pain, the shame, the fear, the parts of your story you believe are too broken for God to redeem. But Psalm chapter 139 reminds us that even the darkness is not dark to Him. God already knows where you are, and He is still calling you closer. It is time to stop hiding, release the weight, and walk into the light of healing, truth, and freedom. Join us live for the Hidden Things virtual conference, Monday, June 29th, from 7 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. Central. You do not have to hide anymore.
Well, hello, and welcome to a new episode of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show. I am so glad that you are tuning in with us tonight on this great Thursday night. Tonight, we have a special guest in the studio. Let's give it up for author D.W. Brooks.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Very happy to have you with us tonight. Tonight, we are going to hear about all things D.W. Brooks. She has some amazing book projects that she's got going on, an amazing testimony that I had the pleasure of hearing part of. We actually met at the Black Girls Who Read event a couple months ago, and I went over, was looking at her books. She writes a lot about love and romance and things of those sort. And I don't even remember how we got in the conversation, but some kind of way we got into the conversation about her life-changing experience that she went through. And she's going to talk to us about that in a few minutes. And I was like, I have to have you on the podcast. We've got to talk about the books, but we have to talk about the woman. And so tonight we are going to do just that. So listen, go ahead and like, tag, share, subscribe. If this is your first time watching an episode of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show, I guarantee you're going to want to come back. We here talk about healing, empowerment, and transformation. We hear the stories of success, but we also hear the journey, and that it's possible for anybody, okay? So, Miss Brooks, my first question that I ask all of my guests, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay. My name is D.W. Brooks, and I am a retired ophthalmologist and a kidney transplant survivor. I originally wanted to be a writer when I was a small child, and obviously small children don't really know how to make that work, so that didn't work out. And I went on to practice medicine for a bit, work as a medical consultant, and then when I developed kidney problems, I ended up coming back to writing. So that was a complete 180 journey. You don't want to have such a traumatic instance be the thing that brings you back to your first love, but that's how we got there.
Yeah, amazing. You said something just then. I've talked to several writers, including myself, where writing was something we were passionate about, but it didn't happen right away.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing with your story, with my story, and several people is we had that unction to want to write, but maybe we didn't quite have the story yet. Did you ever think about it like that? Because I had to go through some, go through some stuff too before.
Well, like I said, my cousins and I, we were like 8 and 9, and we, this was back before you could go on the internet and find stories about people who look like us.
Yeah.
So I read a lot of mystery stories and other things, basically what was mass mass produced or found in a library, which
Yeah.
didn't necessarily mean that they were about telling our stories.
Yeah.
And my cousins and I decided we were going to write a children's mystery series ourselves. But like I
Okay.
said, we were 8. So we
Yeah.
we really didn't, I mean, we had a lot of first chapters kind of introducing everybody, but we
Yeah.
didn't know how to plot or, how to actually develop a mystery or anything. Like you said,
Yeah.
we really didn't have the story to
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
So there was just lots of paper and, drawings and things. But, and, one of the things I regret most is that my mother, I believe, probably cleaned them out, because when I finally got around to looking for them, because we
Yeah.
had put them in the attic, and she said that the squirrels got them. So
Yeah.
okay.
You're like, okay.
We have to roll with that. All right.
Hey, yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, listen, I'm again so excited to talk to you tonight. I was very inspired by talking to you. Just, I mean, your strength of not giving up, hearing your story and, doing a little bit of background on you and all that, just, I think the word that comes to mind, DW, is determination. Determination.
Yeah, that fits. And
Yeah.
I mean, I was determined, but I was really fortunate in that, one,
Yeah.
the whole kidney transplant, kidney failure thing wasn't completely foreign to me, because my kidney problem is genetic. So my mother, my aunts, my cousins, I actually saw other people go through this beforehand. So that was somewhat helpful to kind of see other people go through it and understand that they all survived and went through. So that was good. But my husband also was an immense support system. He kind of tackled it like he tackles everything that needs to be managed. Kind of like, okay, what can I do? Oh, we can start a Facebook group. Okay, we can do that. We can send out information for to help people know how they could get tested if they wanted to, and things like that. I mean, I might have thought of some of that, but he really, came through and, threw some money at advertising and getting more people into the group. So it was
it matters who you marry, right?
Yes. A very big way. He was, because they even mentioned, because of my blood type, that it could take 7 years, and he was just like, no. No.
Yeah.
So
wow. Shout out to him as well. Wow. Amazing. Listen, for those of you that are just now tuning in tonight, we have started a conversation tonight with D.W. Brooks. Okay, she is an author who's independently published 3 romantic suspense books and 2 contemporary romance novels. So we're going to kind of let her tell us a little bit about those books tonight. She's writing stories about people who look like her, and that's intentional. Amazing. She started her actual career goal, which was her idea to write, started when she was about 8. And as she said, not quite prepared to really take that on like a lot of us, but she didn't give up that dream and that desire. And when the time came, she actually got started and is doing just that now. So she's going to talk to us about the 2 different series that she started with her books. And then on top of it, her second dream was also to be in medicine. And so being an ophthalmologist for several years and then serving in several medical capacities, it just keeps going. What it shows is, regardless of what you've got going on, you have to think positive, push your way through, and then with the help of the Lord, things will always work out on your behalf. And so we're going to dig deep into those things. She did share with us a few minutes ago, if you're just tuning in, that she is a kidney transplant recipient for over 8 years. So
Yes.
that is amazing, amazing, amazing. And so she's originally from Alabama and currently lives outside of the Houston, Texas area. All right.
I never thought I would be living outside of Houston, but it's
Yeah.
been good. It's been good.
Very good, very good. So listen, let's just kind of jump in there. I'm going to go over some of the titles of your books. We'll start with one series. The titles of the book are Late Match and The Match Game. Tell us about this series and kind of how did the idea to start the series begin?
Oh, my other series I wrote in third person.
Okay.
And I'm in a writing group where a lot of my friends write romance in first person. And it was almost a challenge because I was like, well, I could I write a story in first person? And they were like, do it, see how
Yeah.
it goes. So I decided to give it a try. The story for Late Match actually um, is something that I saw because basically it's two people who were engaged in medical school, but when they matched for their residency, they ended up not matching in the same city, and their relationship didn't survive the distance. They
Yeah.
ran into each other 15 years later, and that's their second chance.
Yeah.
But when I was in medical school, friends of mine actually didn't match in the same place. They do the match people, the folks who are in charge of it do a really good job as a rule of getting couples to the same place. So
Okay.
it's, the actual odds are small that you don't match in the same place. However, it does happen.
Yeah.
And you can scramble and try to find other positions and things like that and try to work it out. And this couple they actually did manage to get a spot for her the next year, but they didn't make it through the first year. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, I thought that, I always wondered because my friends who that happened to, they worked it out pretty quickly. They've been married forever. They have grown children. They're fine. But yeah, so they're fine. But I wondered what would happen if you didn't get it worked out. I know there are some people who don't match in the same place and they manage to work it out. But I
Right.
decided to take it to the worst possible place, which is they don't make it.
Yeah.
And the reason they broke up was mainly distance and just not having a meeting of the minds of how they were going to actually communicate during
Hmm.
the distance. Because when you're an intern,
Yeah.
it's you can't really know your schedule. You're
Yeah.
trying to call somebody in other time zones. It's
A
very
lot.
difficult. Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
And so and I enjoyed writing the story. And something that I was surprised with, because I also wrapped in their exes, because both characters in the 15 years they were separated
Yeah.
actually got married and divorced. So I
Mm.
wrapped their exes into it because their exes recognized that the reason that their relationships didn't work is because the original couple was still hung up on each other. So
Yeah.
they were trying to help get them back together.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
they're in there with benevolent meddling.
Yeah.
Trying.
Yeah.
So it was fun. And the match game actually is about the ex-wife. While I was writing it, I just was, obviously I knew what I was writing, but I kept getting more and more curious about what kind of person could actually do that. This is my
Mhm.
ex-husband. I loved him. We had a kid together, but I am going to, because I know that he is still hung up, still in love with his first fiance. I'm going to do what I can in my power to put them together. I said, what
Wow.
kind of person can do that? So that's
Yeah.
how I ended up writing the match game, because
Wow.
I thought she was a interesting character, an interesting person on her own.
Yeah.
And now it's turned into a series. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. Listen, for those of you that love to read romance novels, thrillers, dramas, like listen, I heard all of that. Listen, I heard all of that all in one. Okay. So listen, make sure to check into that. And then we've got the next series,
yes,
I Do Chaos,
yeah.
Homecoming Chaos, and Dating Chaos. Tell us about the Chaos series.
That the Homecoming Chaos book was actually the first one I wrote, and she was originally supposed to be based on me because I left medicine to look for something else. I had gotten my MBA and I wanted to get into hospital administration. That didn't
Mhm.
happen. I ended up working at WebMD.
Okay.
But I wanted this particular character to leave medicine as well. And the original plan for the story was to kind of uh, go through her thought process. And because I had a lot of discussion and explanations to do, you know, you're talking to your parents are like, you've kind of gotten to the top of the mountain and you're trying to walk away. I don't understand. I have family members just kind of scratching their head, like, I don't understand why you're leaving because this is
Yeah.
what you've been working for. So it was, I wanted to write a story about that. But then when I really got into it, I decided to make that partially her backstory.
Okay.
And I decided to add a little bit of murder and mayhem in there, and a handsome detective, and go from there. So,
Okay. Okay. The key word was handsome.
yes, handsome, handsome.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, and of course they're butting heads because
Yeah.
they're, you know, she's dipping herself into his job, and, you know, but he thinks she's cute. So, you know, it's all the classic stuff. And
Yeah.
I ended up going back and writing a prequel, which is I Do Chaos, which kind of tells you all of her backstory and how she ended up where she was in Homecoming Chaos. And then Dating Chaos is about their first date and the shenanigans that go on from there.
Let me ask you this, and I'm kind of, my brain is like going 100 miles an hour with
Mhm.
uh, the books, with the plot of the books, and then relating it to society. And I want to know, in your friend circle, did you share the book titles and get feedback from any of your single friends that could like totally identify with a lot of the things in the books?
Um, Not up front. No, I'm actually trying to be better about that, about because like I said, I'm in a couple of writing groups actually,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to be a little bit better about bouncing ideas off of other people in there. I'm a little bit older than everybody else in the group, and I really tend to ride with my own thoughts. I
Yeah.
always hire a developmental editor, so it's not like I just write on my own. I always have a developmental editor and a
Yeah.
copy editor, and et cetera
Yeah.
and so on. So I do share with someone, but I'm trying to get better about sharing it with my friends
Yeah.
as well. So it's just I'm also an only child. I'm kind of self-contained in that way. So I'm trying to
Gotcha.
get better about sharing things with other people.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, I think I'm sure if you have not already done it, these could be workshops easily. Being a single woman, just listening to the books and the topics, these could easily be some workshops if you wanted to just kind of talk about some of the stuff that goes on. So just throwing that out there, to expand and do some workshops in the singles, the I Do, the dating, all of that whole chaos series could be some workshops. Um,
Oh, it's fun.
um,
I'm working on book 4 right now. So
yeah, you got a lot on your plate, but
yeah.
just FYI, FYI. So let me ask you this: how do you balance the romance with the suspense element when you're writing your books?
Oh, I'm still trying to clarify that right now. I'm just making sure I don't go too far in one direction.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think having a developmental editor really helps me rein things in, because Homecoming Chaos, when I first wrote it, was a lot longer. It was a lot longer. And that, since that was my first book, I really didn't outline very well. It was kind of flying by the seat of my pants, just writing whatever came into my head, and
Yeah.
then going back and editing, and then having my editor kind of start tearing it up. Lots of red marks. And,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah.
But you have to keep you have to keep some edge going. And that was something that I started kind of figuring out as I went. And, I also tried to harken back to all the mystery stories that I have on my wall right now, because I've read a lot. And I watch a lot of the 1 hour, drama shows, and I kind of tried to use some of that. Obviously, I still need to keep the story like myself, but I kind of learned some of that just
Yeah.
by watching and reading and things.
Yeah.
So
Add in the fluff. You've got to tell the story, but you got to have some fluff to kind of expand the story.
yeah, you got to have some laughter, some banter,
Yeah.
a little bit of sarcasm, which I love.
Yeah. 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 Let me ask you this. So in your original series versus your chaos series, do you write first person in one and then third person in the other? And how did you decide to do that? What made you switch?
Well, when I started writing, I mean, I always wrote in third person. In fact, up until recently, I generally would only read in third person. So it never really was an issue when I first started writing the chaos stories. But then when I ventured into contemporary romance, I noticed that a lot more of the stories, not all of them, but a lot of the stories are in first person. So I decided that I would just write one in third person and one's going to be in first person. So the match series will always be in first person, and the chaos series will always be in third. Now, when I write some other book, a standalone, I'm not sure which person those will be in. I have some ideas, but I haven't quite figured that far out yet.
I've kind of played around with both. When I first got started, I started out in third person because it was safer. If that makes sense, it was safe to go with the imagination and just kind of let it flow. I found that I was more nervous.
Really?
Kind of like, I was more nervous to actually write first person. Because even when you're writing first person, you're sharing some things that are factual and some that are not. And I think I was more concerned about what would be believed was real and what wasn't,
Yeah. One thing that I had to really remember was that in first person, in third person, you're kind of, you're omni. You can see everything. So you can just write what you think or what you know, and it's everybody knows everything.
Yeah.
But in first person, there's stuff that the people won't know. And so you're like, there's no reason why they would know that. They're not magic. Why would they know that? But and that's one reason why Late Match actually ended up with four different points of view, because since the exes were, meddling and they were talking to each other, obviously they were telling each other things that they were not telling the main couple. So I was like, the reader needs to know what they're doing, but the main couple doesn't know. So I had to break out some extra points of view.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, let me ask you this. Did any of the character relationships develop differently than what you originally planned? Like, how did that go?
Um, yes. Like I said, Grace, the ex-wife, she ended up, I mean, like I said, her whole story just made me want to write more about her, um, and her relationships with other people. She actually, the hardest thing that I had to kind of think about was her relationship with her ex-husband, because he is the hero in Late Match,
Yeah.
but he's not the hero in her story, because obviously they got a divorce.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. And I was really nervous about, even when I was in the match game, because I had to get more into her marriage to him,
Yeah.
and how it wasn't good. And both of them did not great things to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to make him seem like a really horrible person. I was concerned about that, since he's the hero. I don't want people to read the next book and go, why was
Yeah.
I rooting for him before? He doesn't seem very nice.
Yeah.
But my editor made a good point. She said, we are all the villain in somebody's love story.
True.
So I said, all right, okay. So I felt a little better there, but that was something I
Yeah.
was very concerned about. And that relationship was a big part of that.
Okay. So kind of tell us what keeps you excited about writing a romance. Like, what's the thing?
Oh, I one of the things that it goes along with this, when I sign my books, I generally say it's never too late. Because it's never too late to meet your match, and it doesn't mean in whatever form that looks like, because in some of my ads, I actually talk about that and say, my this story, this series is about finding your match in whatever your happily ever after, in whatever form that looks like. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to rush off and get married and have children. That may not be your calling. That may not be it for you.
Yeah.
But it's never too late to look for it, because my characters, all of them except for two, because there's going to be 5 different stories in this series, are in their 40s. So I wanted to focus on the older set a bit, and that it's not too late to look for your happily ever after. And also, I wanted to show Black women being loved properly.
I love that. I love that. This is something I told my mom. Today is Thursday, maybe like Sunday or Monday.
Mm-hmm.
She and I had a lifetime. Um, what do you call it? Like, I can't think when you watch one movie back to back to back.
Oh, movie marathon.
Yes, yes, honey. So we had a lifetime back to back to back, and we were watching all these movies. And with Lifetime, it's always going to be some drama story, and then it had some romance in it. And
yeah,
we were watching, and I was just like, why can't these people on this movie be in real life?
yeah.
Like, why can't they be like this in real life? Like, where are they?
Yeah.
So that is one of the amazing things about being a author, a screenwriter, being a creative, is you have the opportunity to just go with the flow and just create something that is amazing,
Yes.
And it gives people hope, it gives people hope. So I like that you're saying, there's still time, and it's not over. There's still an after, and focusing on that age in the 40s and up. I think that is amazing, because you could have wrote, some, 20, 30-year-olds, but it shows the maturity that some things have happened in life.
Yes.
And then for love to be able to still come back around. So I love that. I love it. I love it. What was your favorite scene? And you can pick whichever book you would like. Kind of tell us, what is your favorite scene that you have written before?
Favorite scene probably was the original meeting of Evan and Mackenzie in Late Match, because they met each other the first day of medical school, And she was really, really shy. And basically, when he first spotted her, she was hiding behind a potted plant. So she was just like, this is, I don't know if I can do this. Because she was very anxious and worried that this was not going to be easy for her. And he spotted her and was like, I really need to know her. And so they cracked a few jokes, and then they could barely hear each other inside, so they went outside, and calamity hit. They fell into the pool, and she can't swim. So it was, she was, at the time, she was unable to swim. So just having to have the little bit of banter, try to show the chemistry between them when they first met, and then have the urgency, because Evan used to be an Olympic swimmer before he went to med school. Gotcha. So this was right in his wheelhouse, and all the water and things kind of play a role in the entire story. So I appreciated the symbolism of him having to save her from water, and showing his concern, even though this is somebody that he had just met, 30 minutes before, and how he felt that he didn't know why, but he knew that she was going to change his life. So
I love that. Well, listen, let's talk a little bit about D.W. Brooks, the lady, the woman. So I heard you say that you were an only child. What was that like? What was family life like, being an only child?
Oh, I hated being an only child. Hated. That wasn't my parents' original intention. My mother wanted like 6 kids. I'm not sure I would have enjoyed that, but she wanted 6 kids. But after she had me, I believe her kidney issue, like I said, we all have the same kidney issue, actually flared up. And at the time, since that was quite a time ago, they really didn't have the same level of management as they do now. So they just told her she couldn't have any more children. So it was me. And I was fortunate with the parents I was blessed with, because there was my dad, there was generally nothing that he didn't think I could do, and he would do whatever he could do to help make it easier for me to get there, because he says that he kind of figured out that I was a smart kid pretty early on, but this was back in the 70s when they weren't really encouraging us women to do a whole lot with any of that. And he was determined that that was not going to happen to me. I have an uncle who is a physician as well. And he graduated from medical school when I was 10 or 11. And my dad talked to him and said, look, can you get us tickets? We'll drive up there to graduation. I want her to see that this is something that could be in her wheelhouse, that if she wanted to do it, she could. So we went to the graduation, and we sat at the table, and the woman that was sharing the table with us was, her name is Elizabeth Luck, and she was going to be a neurosurgeon. And she sat and talked to me like I was, a 20-something-year-old person. I was 10 or 11. And she told me why she wanted to be a neurosurgeon, what all she wanted to do, how much it meant to her. And I left there saying, I'm going to be just like her. I'm going to be her. When I figured out how long it took to be a neurosurgeon, I kind of backed off that part of it. But I still wanted to be a doctor. So that, I can point directly to where that came from. And, I can owe it all to my dad and my uncle to showing me that that was possible.
Yeah, that is amazing. So family, close-knit family, very supportive, it sounds like. Having the background of this kidney disorder, I know that probably played a big part in the support that you had as well, with them kind of knowing, how it feels to be in that position. Let me ask you this. What was community like for you outside of your family? What did community look like?
Well, we had I mean, there are several different groups that I grew up with. I grew up in the church, so all the different organizations, the usher board, the choir, et cetera, and so on. So there were a lot of friends and kids that were my age that I grew up with. There were also, I was a Girl Scout, so I grew
You
up
were selling those cookies.
yeah, but they were like I mean, if they cost then, I mean, I would be like under a big old pile of cookies because they were almost it feels like they were almost free then, 50 cents for a box of cookies. Now it's like $5. But yeah, so and I took dance lessons, and so there were lots of different separate groups that I hung out with that we all provided support for each other in different ways, and that carried on through college, because I knew I wanted to go to medical school, so you have to make sure you participate in extracurricular activities. So I did a lot of things in college. We started a dance team, because I went to a very small Methodist university in Birmingham, which no longer exists. And we started a dance team to perform at halftime of basketball games. And I was in the pre-med club and different service organizations, pledged sorority, et cetera, and so on. So, community was kind of everywhere.
Yeah, really good, really good. Let me ask you this. You have a daughter and a son. Have they got the writing bug, or are they kind of going in that direction, or what are their thoughts?
No. Okay, my daughter has Down syndrome, so we struggle to get her. I mean, she's a good reader. She just doesn't want to read. So, so I'm not really that worried. She's not going to be writing anything. My son, on the other hand, he doesn't. I don't even know how to explain it. He's very competitive, because my husband has actually written 2 books himself.
Okay.
He wrote an autobiography because he's adopted. So he wrote about finding his birth parents and his family, et cetera, and so on. And then he just wrote a motivational book about, how to succeed in life, et cetera, and so on. So, so both of us are writers. So my son, in his competitiveness, is like, I think I'm going to write a book too, so I can be the bestseller in this house. And it's like, what are you going to write about? And he's like, I don't know yet, but I think I can do better than both of y'all. So, like I said, he's competitive. But other than that, no. I don't think my husband thought that I was going to write more than one book. Because when I wrote Homecoming Chaos, I hadn't really thought much about writing another book until I was finished. And I said, that was kind of fun. I have more stories to tell. Here we go.
Yeah. Wow. So writing is in the blood.
Yes. I have a cousin that wrote a book as well. So there are various family members who've written things here and there.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about what's coming up next. I know you're going to be attending a event coming up in Austin. Tell us a little bit about the upcoming events that we can see DW Brooks at.
Okay, I'm going to be in Austin on Saturday at the African American Book Festival. It's their 20th year anniversary. And next month, I will be in New York at the end of the month on the 26th. At something called Pages in the City, New York City. It's basically a day of celebration, talking about books, women supporting each other. It seems like it's going to be a good time. This is the first year for it, so I'm excited to see how that goes. I have another one in October called Book Harvest. And I have another event in November called Tropicon. There's some smaller events going on. I've started doing local markets, because those actually are a good place to meet your readers. They may not know about the bigger book events, but they do know about the markets that are, pop up on Saturdays in their neighborhoods and things. So I've got several of those scheduled over the next few months as well. So I am trying to be as visible as possible, because that's something that I said I was going to do this year, was actually try to get out and meet my readers where they might be, as opposed to just relying on social media, because there are a lot of people who aren't on social media and
Right.
who probably would be interested in seeing what you have, but since they don't, live on social media, they may not know about you. So I've tried to expand my reach somewhat.
Amazing, amazing. I'm going to put some websites up here. And I know this first one that I'm putting up, this is your Instagram. So
Right.
for all of you that want to get in touch with Miss D.W. Brooks, this is her Instagram link. You will be able to take a look at these links that I'm putting up. This is your author website.
Yes, yes.
You'll be able to take a look at these links that I'm putting up, regardless of what time you watch this interview. All of these links will be in the comment section, so you will be able to take a look. This is the TikTok link.
Yes.
Okay.
Trying to be more active on TikTok.
I haven't joined the TikTok train yet, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, well, I had deleted myself from TikTok, and then I decided to go back and give it another try. So we'll see how that goes.
Now, this is your newsletter subscription, correct?
Well, that's my Facebook page.
Okay.
That's the author Facebook page. I have more than one Facebook page, but that's the one that goes to my author site.
Okay.
And the author dwbrooks.com/connect contact goes directly to my newsletter sign up.
This one here. Okay. Very good. Okay. So listen, all of those links are attached to the interview in the comment section. Make sure that you support D.W. Brooks and her books. She is going to be in Austin, Texas this coming weekend. So if you're in the Austin, Texas area, you'll be able to go out and support her in person with her amazing books. I know that she said enough tonight, I think, to get you interested in wanting to know what is going to happen in those stories. I'm going to give you 3 words, Miss Brooks, and these 3 words are the basis for the platform, and they are healing, empowerment, and transformation. I want you to tell us which one of those words stands out the most for us, and then tell us why.
I think it would be healing. And most of that is mainly for me because of my journey. It's different to be a physician who's ill.
Yeah.
Because you know what's happening, but you can't really do anything about it. And you there were days where you just kind of break down. Like, I can't believe this is happening to me. And I'm not sure how to deal with it. Like I said, I had a lot of support, but there were days where you're just like, okay, I have young kids and I don't want this to be the end. And that's one of the reasons why I started writing again. It's just like, I want to utilize this time and I want to leave something behind if this doesn't go the way I'd like it to go. So once I did get my transplant, that was a journey in itself in getting back to, pretty good health. You had to, and there were always, there's setbacks and struggles, even with that, even with, you're on the right side of it, but that still took a lot of fortitude to get through that. So healing is the big part for me.
Major. Well, we thank the Lord for the healing that He placed in your life. And you are now living your life on the other side of that, where you can go back and tell your story. And now you're writing your books and you're thriving. And so I'm so grateful for you being here tonight, Miss D.W. Brooks. Thank you so much for coming by and chatting with us tonight. Um, Before we head out, I want to give you an opportunity to give the closing statement to the person that's standing on the sidelines, wondering, should I become a writer? Or who's going to read my book? Or can I even reach anybody? Just that self doubt, I guess,
Yes.
To the person that has that self doubt, what would be your message to them tonight?
Uh, Everybody has that self doubt. There's pretty much nobody who ever sat down to write anything who was positive
Yeah,
that there would be people to read it. But which seems to be my mantra right now. It's never too late,
yeah,
and you really just have to sit down and write it. Um, just get your ideas out on paper.
yeah,
There's a lot of people out there. There's a huge, big world. There are plenty of people who would like to see what you write. The challenge is always to find them,
yeah,
but almost everything has an audience. You have to work a little harder to find it,
yeah.
but it's important to just remember it's never too late. Just sit down and do it. It's in you. If that's what you want to do, go for it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Again, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sharing your story with us tonight. You have heard it here. D.W. Brooks and her amazing books and projects that she's got going on. Make sure that you follow her and support her. If you have questions or just want to reach out and offer an encouraging word, make sure that you check the links, the comments or comment section, so that you can click on all of the links that we have listed in those areas. Again, thank you so much tonight, Miss Brooks. Thank you to all of you that have tuned in tonight for another amazing episode of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show. I do have a couple of announcements before we get out of here tonight. I've got a couple of things happening this weekend. So this weekend, it's finally here. The Men Hurt 2 conference. Woo! Listen, this conference has been planned. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. This conference has been planned for about a year since the first one, and this Saturday in the city of Tyler, Texas,
Ah,
we are having the second Men Hurt 2 conference. Last year we had the conference in Dallas, and it was an amazing movement of the Lord. I mean, the men came in looking all hard, like I don't know if I really want to be here. Like I just came to see what's going to happen. Listen, the 4-hour conference turned into 6 hours last year.
wow.
They asked for 2 more hours. That the
Okay.
conversations were so deep and intense, and the fact that they had not had a space where
Hmm.
they felt safe enough to be so open and vulnerable, that literally last year, the conference that was supposed to be 10 a.m. to 2, it did
Hmm.
not end until 4.
Okay.
Now this year we have to leave by 2.
I was gonna ask you about that.
Listen, DW. So listen, we are going to have an amazing, amazing time here at the Men Hurt 2 conference in Tyler, Texas. We're going to be at the Potpourri House, an amazing facility. The food, the environment, everything's going to be amazing. Have some amazing speakers. Our keynote speakers is coming in from Chicago, Illinois. We have some locals that are a part of the conference, some vendors. My good friend Melvin Bruce Lee is going to be
Okay.
hosting, carrying out my vision for me. So listen, it's going to just be an amazing time. That is going to be happening on Saturday.
That
And
sounds
then
great.
on Monday night, this will be virtual. So DW, you can watch this one too. On Monday night, 7 o'clock to 8:30, we're having a virtual conference called Hidden Things.
Okay.
Hidden Things. Okay. So make sure to tune in. It will be streaming live on Facebook as well as on my YouTube channel. Okay. So make sure you tune in for that. Spread the word. Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you again for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you for having
Great
me.
night. You're
All right,
welcome.
good night.
Bye bye, guys. See you later.
2027 Keeping It All Together. Becoming Who God Called Me to Be Conference. Saturday, February 27, 2027. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Ujima Socials, Dallas, Texas. This is more than an event. This is a divine gathering for women who are ready to heal, grow, be encouraged, and walk boldly in purpose. This powerful day will include dynamic speakers, a keynote message from visionary Stephanie M. Seaton, vendors, catered lunch, raffles, self-care, intimacy with the Lord, and a life-changing panel discussion. Get your tickets now.